like we said earlier, we're going to speak with an organization, that decided to assist with providing food to those in dire need as Nigerians grapple to put food on the table. Government started its own food market in Lagos, but this organization, the Gloryland Global Outreach of the New Gloryland Cherubim and Seraphim Movement Church, Ionia, Houston, Texas? Well, I think that's where the headquarters is. But right here in Lagos, Ogudu, they were giving out food yesterday. Well, we have a representative, Olorun Toba Adeluba, who is a representative of the organization. We have him online. Let's just quickly speak with him. Good morning and welcome to the program. Okay, well, our engineers are trying to rectify a few things there. Well, this organization, you'll tell us more. It's not easy when some individuals are trying to get things to put on their table. Some of us are given to those in need. It's really interesting. Well, good morning once again. I do understand that we've been able to establish contact with you, Mr. Olorun Toba Adeluba, or is it Prophet now? Good morning and welcome. All right, I'm struggling to hear you, but if you can hear me, if you can.
Okay, I can hear you.
Oh, great, fantastic. So quickly, we have a little time to do this. Just tell us more about your church, the church, and the desire to give Nigerians. And how did it go yesterday?
It went well. We thank God for His grace, and the security personnel were on ground. We were able to reach the people who plan to reach, based on the mission and vision of the Gloryland Global Outreach. The numbers we saw, it was so painful that we couldn't even sort everyone. Well, we had a huge crowd yesterday, and we thank God.
Can you give us an overview? What was the number like? Like, how many people turned up?
What is it?
Give us an overview. How many people turned up, according to your data?
People that turned up was around 400, and we catered for only 200.
Oh, wow. Whoa. Oh, you prepared
for... It was a lot, so... It was a lot. And the way we even went about it, we didn't want to do the whole stuff by just posting flyers around for people to come, because getting a lot of crowd, we won't be able to handle that kind of crowd.
But you still got the crowd.
We now went to all the CDs to get the list of people that if they know that they are vulnerable, people that they are in need. We collected their names. Even with that, with those lists, for all the CDs in Ojota community, even with that list, we still have over 100 people that came that they were not on the list.
Wow. Wow. Now, were food items being sold, or were you giving them out for free?
I can't hear you.
Were food items being sold, or were you giving them out for free?
No, it was not sold. It was given for free of charge. A 5 kg of rice, parboiled rice, and 1 bottle of 750 ml of granite oil.
Oh, wow.
Was given out for free. We made provision for 250 rather.
Okay.
And we were able to we know we don't have extra. We don't have people that will come, their name will not be on the list. That they are really in need. Like somebody who came and was like, when he got his own ticket, the food stand, he had to make a call. I was standing beside her. He had to make a call to her husband. Hello, husband, please don't go again. Don't go to that place. Like, you want to go and beg your enemy for food. I've gotten a tally. I was highly touched with the kind of things people are going through at this period. But I was so happy that he got solved and he had a little baby. So we had a lot of experience. We had a lot of people, reviews from all of them that this one reached the people we intended to give. Wow. And it was a great success.
I feel like breaking a tear here because truly Nigerians are suffering. And your organization, the Gloryland Global Outreach of the New Gloryland Cherubim and Seraphim Movement Church, decided to cater for Nigerians. It's a laudable one, I must say. It's a laudable one. But take us the process. Did you give out tallies? The, the tallies, was it to determine what each person gets, or to know when each person arrived?
No, we have a team of professionals that have to go through the list of what the CDA submitted. We have to move around to look for their address and their location to really verify whether they are what given that source.
Okay.
You understand? So we now streamline those lists. At the gate, we give them a gate pass. When you get that gate pass, it gives you access to the compound. Okay. And then after getting that gate pass, you go for inspection again. They will look at you well before they give you a food tally. So it was a food tally. Now you now take to the food distribution point.
How were you able to avoid stampede?
Now the one we did, that was the main reason, because we had to have a meeting with the Ojota police station. Okay. So what we needed to do was to create a traffic, a point whereby it's not that when you enter the gate directly, you go straight where you are collecting. So and we didn't accommodate more than 50 people at a go inside that place. So there was a movement. People were going out, people were coming in. So the flow helped us control traffic or any stampede, and the presence of the security guys were on ground. So it went well.
So how were you able to also prevent a family from collecting more than once?
Yeah, we have the names of everybody on ground, and those people that didn't write their name, that we didn't give them, we have to get their name and confirm their phone number. So once you have your name, and we see a similar name or another name, you can't use another name because you have to come with a verification ID that shows that this is your name and with your phone number. And what we did from our own part is to collect all the phone numbers we got from all the CDA. We sent a broadcast SMS, a bulk SMS to them to invite them for the program a day before. That was on a Friday. So on Saturday, once you tell me your name, I'll tell you, you get a message, said yes, okay, let me see the message. We'll confirm each message.
And you did that. And you did that for 250 people.
Yeah, for 250 people.
Wow,
that's a massive.
That's a lot. That's a lot of work there. Okay, well, those are pictures from the event. It looks very orderly, very orderly, if you ask me. Well, it's congratulations to you. This is we do appreciate you. Now, is this going to continue? Are you going to do this next weekend or something?
Thank you.
Is this going to continue? I'm asking. Is it a one-off? Is this a one-off, or will there be a continuation?
There's going to be a continuation. We're even planning on getting all the videos. We are focusing on all the videos now in Oshope local government. That's going to be Alakweda as a location. We're still working on that. And I know before maybe after Easter, before the end of 2 months or so, we're coming back again to see all the videos.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. We've been speaking with Olorutoba Adeluba, a member of Gloryland Global Outreach of the New Gloryland Cherubim and Seraphim Movement Church, New. Thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, then. So let's get into our conversation this morning. Now, troops deployed to Okuama community in Uheli local government, Uheli South local government area of Delta State, continued the demolition of houses following the brutal murder of military personnel, including a commanding officer, 2 majors, 1 captain, 12 soldiers, and a civilian. In total, 17 individuals, human beings, lives lost during a rescue mission last week. Now, reports indicate that the military has occupied Okuama with numerous houses already demolished. The violence stemmed from an age-old land dispute with youths from Okoloba allegedly ambushing and killing 3 Okuama youths. And then in a retaliatory move, Okuama youths reportedly held an Okoloba indigent hostage, prompting a swift action from the Joint Task Force. Well, the President of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, has condemned the killings of military personnel. A lot of Nigerians have also condemned this dastardly act. The president is denouncing the perpetrators as cowardly and advocating for their punishment. Now, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the Labour Party's Peter Obi for the 2023 election also demand justice for the slain soldiers. Now, Senator Ned Nwoko of Delta State, Governor Sheriff Oboriwori expressed their condolences to the military and families of the deceased, and they're vowing to capture the culprits. Additionally, human rights lawyer Femi Falana has urged the federal government to intervene and stop reprisal attacks by soldiers in Okuama, calling for an end to the cycle of violence. Oh well, we have with us in the studio, we still have with us in the studio Mr. Akin Fatunke, and we do expect Ambassador Dr. Roy to join this conversation. Ambassador Dr. Roy is Group CEO, August I Limited, and Security Outreach. He's a security expert. Well, let's stay with Mr. Fatunke. Now, there's a side to this that not many people are talking about. It is, first off, what would you think would give Nigerians that boldness to attack military personnel? You do recall that in Port Harcourt, in River State, there was an attack also on policemen. They were killed. We're still trying to sort that one out, and then we have another one. We have our military men also being attacked in the north. Is it that Nigerians have lost regard for those saddled with the responsibility of defending the territorial integrity and upholding law and order? Is that how they've been debased and no regard anymore?
Moses, it's unfortunate. My heart, my prayers goes to the families of the slain military officers. By extension, my heart also goes to perhaps the civilians who are getting the touch. They are innocent, but they are getting the touch of all this. I will say to you that even before this, I think the deaf can hear, the blind who have seen has seen, and anybody with the adequate dose of emotional intelligence will tell you that the quote unquote the Nigerian nation we have bred and we have in our midst some human beings, the law and order has fallen irretrievably. Somebody will say the people at the top, at the helm of affairs, are doing their things. The middle class people and religious sects are doing their things, and then people down the bottom are also doing their things. I take you back to a few years back. A good intention with the answers. Hoodlums came. In Lagos, as an example, they went to Yaba Left. By Yaba Left, I'm talking about the psychiatric hospital. So, in angst, took the bed and beddings, sacked the whole place, took medications that should be served to people that had mental issues. What's that saying to you? We've lost that humanity. We have many churches and many mosques and many shrines. We preach, but unfortunately, what we preach, we don't walk the talk. And you ask me, what is it that will make an average person look at this particular person in uniform and then decides to, it was very graphic,
Very graphic indeed.
ripped the intestine
Very
out,
graphic.
took out
I don't even
the
want to
heart
go into the detail.
and all that kind of thing. Is that killing? Means that it's barbarism, and our orientation should again get back to the family level. The family level is broken. Husband and wife, or intended husband and wife, unwanted pregnancies, shoving down babies down the toilet pit. All these have now grown and conflagrated. Then again, Moses, is there a perception that this military in uniform are now being seen to be one-sided? So
I was coming there.
So Okrobia, township, we have land dispute. We are hearing a perception that a particular person at the top is going to come around with
Yes.
military and all that. It also happens elsewhere. He said, "Do you know who I am? I'm going to call the military out
No,
to you."
no.
So we need a total reorientation of the
Now,
whole architecture.
interesting you went there, because I was going to come to that, because I'm trying to wrap my head around what would give the youths, certain individuals, the guts to want to do that. But the story we're hearing, which is not being reported really by the media, is the fact that when the Okoloba people attacked the Okuama, they've been rivals for quite a long time, fighting over land issues and all of that. They've had reprisal attacks over time, and they attacked, they killed a few people, and the Okuama youths took an individual, a certain individual. He wasn't killed. He was abducted. He was held hostage. And the story we're hearing is a certain Okoloba individual who is highly placed in the military took the military to rescue this individual. And that, I believe, is the civilian that was killed alongside. Now, what I saw in the research, certain individuals were complaining that, look, when they came to rescue this individual, it wasn't just, hey, take this person and leave. It was more like some other things happened. Some people were killed. But that's not being reported. That's what we are hearing. That some people were killed when they went to rescue the hostage. And when they were leaving, that was when the youths, the Okuama youths, decided to ambush them to, attack them as well. So they ended up killing these soldiers and majors and soldiers and officers in the manner that they did. Now, we now see that, there's been the military, is being accused of combing the town, demolishing structures, burning structures. Now, can you take us back to 1999 when a similar incident happened in Odi in Bayelsa State?
Yes, we're very interested to go back to Odi and talk about Obasanjo and Odi. But before then, I will just say to myself first, so start with me. I am cautious. I like to see this investigation that is going on, that should be made very open, that should be very sincere, and that should be truthful. Conspiracy theories will
Here and there.
keep on going. I also had it and I did a bit of a research. I would even say that Anthony Aboh, who was the hostage, held in hostage, also allegedly is related or maybe a brother to a senator. You know, this power thing that goes beyond the brim. And then, of course, when things go beyond the brim, it will naturally spill. Reprisal or no reprisal, I even heard that it was not on Okuama land, allegedly, and that when we were going back on the river, the Focados River, they did this hideous thing and then dumped them in the river. It's wrong. 24 wrongs cannot make a right. And no matter how you detest the man or the woman in uniform, that uniform should still be a symbol of authority. Now, any human being, not necessarily a military, that has stolen from you, or you say, you know, it's a thief and all that, you put tie around that person's neck and then you do jungle justice and all that, it's still wrong. No matter how you want to justify it, that you take this particular person to the police station, the police will compromise. That notwithstanding, decency says we should do things in proper way. Odi. Obasanjo was quoted as saying that soldiers were sent in there and they were ripped apart. And in ripping them apart, before the soldiers, the police had gone. And then the soldiers, what did you expect a constituted authority to do when life has become intractable? So he sent in people there and they leveled the whole place. In leveling the whole place, I even had a loss. I'm Yoruba. One of the best number 4 you can get anywhere in the world in terms of soccer. Maxwell Yebufra, his house was razed. We were not able to trace anything.
You weren't able to trace anything, like you couldn't find the body?
The body, the house.
Till today?
Till tomorrow. I wish till today.
Now, that's interesting because I was
so many people. Now, the government came high-handed. We might say, at the end of the day, a semblance to the Israeli, the Gaza. Why did you start it in the first place?
What is the difference between what happened in OD and what is happening now in the bid to capture those responsible for the killing of the soldiers?
I haven't seen much difference. There is not much difference. What normally should happen is go out there, talk to the locals, talk to the chiefs, bring out these the perpetrators who are hiding within you. That whistle blowing was going to happen in OD. The communities decided that we are going to shield. The communities decided that, well, no, we're going to find a way to try and hide you. Likewise to what we are finding in Okoloba. The truth must be told. Our traditional institutions must live up to the plate. We must find a situation where if the wrong person runs to you, even if it is your kith and kin, you should not want to shield that kind of person. And the culturation should start from now. Don't do this. There are certain things you should not do. And should be made to understand that if you do this, the whole of our family is going to get wiped off. Now, if you did that, and they didn't answer, they didn't hit to you, you should be the first to know, then just pull that person out there. Yes, no, I've told you, I've mentioned it, this is it. By the time we begin to see things like that, look, it is unacceptable, no matter how you want to look at it, for anybody to take the lives of our military the way it was taken.
Now, what measures at this point do you think can be implemented to build trust and cooperation between the security forces and community residents at this time? Because from what we hear, there's a lot of distrust from the people in the community. So what measures can be implemented now to rebuild trust and cooperation?
You will not believe this. My forte is communication. You ask me what is the link. Communication, communication, communication. Gathering ourselves, whether we are churchgoers, whether we are mosque goers, whether we are, even we are association of prostitutes, association of Yahoo Yahoo. The truth is that communications must be clear. And it starts from the household level. I'm going to come to the top. From the household level, from the ward level, political associations, just name them. Every school, there has to be a talk about what is is there, but what is wrong and what is right. Certain things that should not happen. Can we then begin? Another point is to begin to enumerate ourselves. Yeah, we wait for the national population census to come in, but on your streets, in your neighborhood, we begin to see faces that are not familiar. We ask, who are you? What do you do for a living? Can we begin to notify? You come in the thick of the night. The head of the CDA, as the case might be, now begin to ask questions. We almost participate in governance at that level. Okay, now, finally, governance at household, yes, household level, family level, at ward level, political level, and we must begin to see good vibes from the state government, and state actors, and then the federal actors.
Okay, now
I am happy. We have not allowed politics. David, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Back to your question. What should we begin to do now? We should be humanists. I'm glad that irrespective of our political divides, we are all united in saying what happened should not happen.
Okay.
Can we begin to replicate that, talk about it? Yes, I know there is so much unemployment in the land. I know there is this, there is that, but that does not warrant what happened to those military personnel.
Oh, no, Mr. King, now I want to ask you this, though it's going to be more like a two-in-one question, but have to be fast about that because of press of time. Now the thing is, during this when we're going through the stories, the way they analyze it, there was a part that says there was a call on the militia in that region to come for, intervene, more like these people are coming with us, the security personnel who needed to come help or intervene in this particular case. And, the person responded. Now, does it mean that, there was an amnesty signed in Delta State, or rather, pull down your gun and get involved and all that. So they actually pulled down the gun. Is it that the amnesty did not really work in Niger Delta? That's the first one. Now, second one is this. Looking at Nigeria and the way the constitution is, the military actually have their major role to be manning the borders in terms of any external, invasion in the country. We have the police, we have the Civil Defense Corps and others to help out with the issues happening internally. But now that you find out that any, even checkpoints have the military there. You have military more like entering into, the suburb, the regions where more like it's not really part of their jurisdiction to start with, or kind of. Now, do you think also the government need to look into it, by making sure that they restore? Because most people will be like, I beg me to not get this thing anymore. No, we're talking like that, Now, do you think the government actually need to come back into this and help to restore the dignity of the military?
Fina, great questions. And I'll be very direct with you. It's not for me.
Yeah.
It's not a question of government has to. Government has to. We have to. We have collectively have to take a decision on this. One, the state of insecurity in the country is beyond what any government can put a finger on. We have lost it. We are not capable of securing lives and property.
That's unfortunate.
No doubt about that. And it goes without saying. And what I expect from a reasonable government, a responsible government, is to do its what? Okay, you know the threats. You know, you hardly have any opportunities again. You can't continue to depend on a constitution that is not working. You can't continue to be using state force because the people are going to rise against you. So we must get around the table. One word for it is the fact that Nigeria is not working in that direction, and so many other directions. We must get back to it. I'm happy that one of the responses that I am seeing from the APC government led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu is now to say that, look, can we begin to look at state police, pros and cons? Are we ready for it? Is that what we should be going for? So that's number one. Initially, you talked about the amnesty. Don't we know that all what we are trying to do is just to do emergency response and not going to the roots of the problems we have? Okay, come and drop your arms and ammunitions, and the guns that were trained on those soldiers, they open fire. Where did those guns come from? We are merely trying to deceive ourselves in this direction. We are not, in my mind, very integrated in looking at those problems. Shotguns and arms. We are looking at Okoloba, we are looking at Delta State. It's all over the place. Go to the north, go to the southwest, go to the southeast, go to central. It's permeated. And we are all sitting on that keg of gunpowder. What do we need to do? Government, responsible government, I dare say, must now then come and say, because these things are not working, let's all sit around the table again and take critical decisions. Not just on the security, on our economy, on how we can still commingle in a way that we are able to secure ourselves in a better way. And Nigeria has become so ungovernable. Now we are hearing Okoloba. The next we are going to hear somewhere in the north or in the southwest. It's just not acceptable. Now that we are still trying our best, okay, at least to try and contain the situation, I'm glad with the kind of communication that I am seeing. The Delta State governor came out clearly. It belongs to the opposition.
Now,
he came out clearly to say this is not
where has
acceptable.
the Delta State governor been when the communities have been having clashes, have been killing each other? We've been having attacks and reprisal attacks. What is the role of government to ensure that this does not continue?
Yes, local government administration. Don't we have a local government in there? Don't we have kings or whoever is the head of all those places? I mean, from what we are hearing, it's been on. You remember the Ife?
Should we allow it to continue?
You remember the Ife Modakeke thing? In the East, there are communities that always fight on issue of land and what have you. So we need to get back to making sure all these institutions, whether quasi, whether real, they work. What do they preach in the churches and the mosques? The pastors and imams in those areas don't know that there is a dispute. I'm happy you try to put it point blank to the governor of Delta State, the governors of Delta State all this while. What
and the traditional leaders as well. Let's not leave them
what
out.
measures have you taken to make sure that you settle amicably?
Okay.
Usually you find some
we
of
are,
these leaders
we are pressed
taking
for time.
side.
We are
And
pressed
when
for
they take
time.
side, you exacerbate the
Things get worse.
the wahala.
Well, we are pressed for time, so we have to wrap this conversation up as we move to the other conversation round.
Okay,
Now.
so looking at the state of the nation, incessant kidnapping, beware of Jonathan treatment. Ohanaeze Council tells Tinubu.
But Jonathan treatment, that seems to be something now. Jonathan treatment. We'll talk about this one when we come back. Let's go on this very quick break. We'll be back in a bit.